We have some new news revolving around Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns wing, as an insider just dropped some massive news retaining to the superstar and his future in Phoenix. As we all know, he's been gauged out on the trade market. Multiple teams are interested in him, and even more teams are becoming interested as the days tick on longer. So what will Brian Gregory's decision be, and how will he truly make his imprint on this Phoenix Suns revolving around Kevin Durant? We're going to dive in and we're going to get into all of those questions and discuss the future of Kevin Durant on this episode of Suns Digest. And I am Bruce Veliz. And I want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in, for hitting that subscribe button, for hitting that like button, for watching these videos for Ben and I, as hasn't been the greatest season for the Phoenix Suns. Obviously, with the news pouring in, we're going to have all the updates for you guys here on this channel. So if you are not subscribed yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button, as 65% of you guys are not subscribed. If you want to make sure you stay up to date on everything, videos, live streams, all that type of jazz, this is the place for you for Phoenix Suns news. I want to give a shout out to everyone that came through to the stream yesterday, and about 40 people, which was absolutely fantastic, and thank you guys for that. I hope to see you guys in future streams as well. But without further ado, let's dive into it, and let's get into this video at hand. Make sure to grab that snack, ladies and gentlemen. And unfortunately for the Phoenix Suns, there are more teams that are interested in Kevin Durant and are going to be looking to pry him away from this Phoenix Suns squad. And depending on how you feel about Kevin Durant or how you feel about this Suns roster, you might be ready to move off on that. But we did see an update from Mark Stein here from his Substack, which said that the Miami Heat are expected to show interest in Kevin Durant, where the Heat are frequently forecasted as a team, along with Minnesota, expected to show trade interest this offseason. And Phoenix is Kevin Durant. With the sort of clues Riley drops about this team building an approach in the wake of a 37-44 campaign and a painful first-round playoff sweep inflicted by Cleveland will be a prime of interest. And we see from Brett Siegel here that he says that this is nothing new, as if he's been following his reports at Clutch Points, and we have been since the trade deadline. They've labeled the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Miami Heat as two of the likeliest destinations for Durant this offseason. Hawks also pursued Kevin Durant at the trade deadline and may still be interested in a Kevin Durant trade at this moment. But ultimately, I do think that they'll kind of go into their youth movement and go a little bit younger. But teams like the Timberwolves and Heat are two teams that I could see being interested in Durant with their connections and the type of play style. We also saw from Evan Sidery the odds update from DK Sportsbook on where Durant will play next season, as his favorite is the Suns at this moment, just because we still don't know what could happen with Durant. He could still be on this team. He still is on a one-year deal, right? It could be a little bit more difficult to trade him. Maybe the Suns feel that what they're getting on the open market for Durant isn't what they want, and they decide to keep him. That could be the case. But all these other teams, right? The Rockets, obviously, fading in the first round. They were a team interested. The Timberwolves were always interested with the links of Anthony Edwards and Kevin Durant, with Anthony Edwards' favorite player being Kevin Durant. The Mavericks have been interested with Nico Harrison and his big swinging moves. Maybe he's going to pair him up alongside Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving, but I don't see that. And then the Heat and the Spurs. We've kind of talked about those teams as well. But with obviously the Heat and the Timberwolves kind of being those main factors today, we're going to really dive into those and explore that, because for this Phoenix Suns team, we know that some change is going to be happening. Brian Gregory made that known when he was at his press conference, saying that, and he talked a little bit about Kevin Durant, saying that they're trying to stay on the same page. They talked last week. Kevin Durant congratulated him for winning, becoming the general manager. So there was some connection there. And I do think that him and Durant will do the best for each other, right? And I think that is going to be a trade for the Suns. As we know, they're in the second apron. They're already salary capped. They want to drop below that first apron. And they could still be in the first apron with Durant, but would have to move off Bradley Beal's contract to be able to have some flexibility. And as we all know, Bradley Beal's contract is going to be very difficult to move this season for the Phoenix Suns. But Durant, $54 million next season on a one-year deal. If we want to look at his stats for the season this year, 26.6 points, almost 27 average, 6 rebounds, 4.2 assists, 1.2 blocks, almost a steal per game as well, shooting 53% from the field and 43% shooting from three. Now, these stats from Durant here are absolutely insane for the season that he's been having for the Phoenix Suns. And we all know that if he were healthy, if he were able to play for this team for that 75-game mark, he would have, or 65-game mark, excuse me, he would have been all NBA eligible for this NBA season. And if he wasn't, it would have been a major discredit for his play and for the Suns' play, because he was absolutely phenomenal this season. And I can see why teams like the Heat, teams like the Wolves still have interest in him. And I can see why Suns fans, including myself and Suns fans out there in the world, want to still see Kevin Durant on this roster. It's just unfortunate for the situation that the Phoenix Suns are in at this moment, that it's going to be very, very difficult for them to get a deal done. So I want to know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you think about the Heat being interested, the Timberwolves being interested in a potential Kevin Durant trade? But next, I want to get into what does this really mean for Phoenix, for Kevin Durant, for this team, for Brian Gregory, as we kind of know, right? He's on this 1-year deal. He's most likely on his way out. What's going to happen with Durant? I ultimately think he's going to be traded. I think that a team like, if we want to look at this list, right, the Rockets, I don't think the Mavericks are going to be interested. I think that's just a ridiculousness. Timberwolves, Heat, Spurs, Rockets, I could see those 4 really being in it. Maybe the Celtics as well, all depending on how they kind of go in the playoffs. Maybe the Knicks even as well, depending on if Boston were able to get a comeback in this series. Maybe the Knicks do see that telltale time of, hey, maybe we do need some more offense and not need to be relying on all this defense to combat with some of these top tier teams. With the Celtics and the Knicks, depending on how that series goes or how their playoffs go for the rest of the year, it could be 2 more teams kind of be thrown in this mix, but I don't really see anybody else. Maybe like a Hawks, maybe a Pacers would be interesting for the Suns to get some better players back, but I don't necessarily know. But with these types of deals, with these types of teams, there's going to be a lot of intrigue, a lot of interest, right? When you look at the Rockets, we've made some videos about the Rockets and Kevin Durant in the past on this channel. I think you would help out this Rockets team a lot, being able to provide some scoring at that power forward position, playing alongside Alperen Sengun and Tari Eason at that power forward position, I think would be very solid. Amen Thompson, and I think he could thrive in that position for the Houston Rockets. We want to look at the Timberwolves as well. Him and Anthony Edwards would be a crazy story. Anthony Edwards getting to beat his favorite player in the NBA in his first playoff series, but then 2 years later or 3 years later getting to team up with him would just be even crazier to see. Anthony Edwards and Kevin Durant, one who's idolized Kevin Durant his whole entire life, get to play with him. I can't imagine how that would feel if I got to play with a guy like Chris Paul or Steve Nash. That would be crazy for Anthony Edwards. Obviously, with that trade, the Suns, maybe getting Julius Randle, maybe getting a Rudy Gobert type of player, would have to keep an eye out. And then the Heat, obviously, their press conference was just today. Pat Riley said that no major changes are coming, but changes need to be seen. I don't know what that means. I don't know what the Miami Heat are doing, but clearly something is going to be changing with them. Obviously, Mark Stein kind of reported that they're interested in Kevin Durant. They were like the new forecasted team, as they're still trying to get through the mud, and maybe a team alongside Bam Adebayo and Kevin Durant can work, right? Maybe they feel Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, Kevin Durant can work. I don't think that's the best package for the Phoenix Suns. Saw it on Twitter. It was like Terry Rozier, Duncan Robinson, Jaime Jaquez, and some firsts. I don't want an all shooting guard team. Please do not do that to me. But ultimately, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I want to know what you ultimately think about the Phoenix Suns and Kevin Durant in this, trade debacle, as their drama has been overflowing within this Phoenix Suns team revolving around Durant. And with the offseason getting closer and closer and closer, we're going to see some changes coming soon. We all know that when the NBA season ends, when the final whistle is blown in that finals, the next day the offseason starts for the Phoenix Suns, and they can make moves left and right depending on what they want to do. So that's something to keep an eye out for this team as well. Keep an eye out for Brian Gregory. Keep an eye out for this head coaching search. All these things revolving around the Suns as they gear up to really reshape their culture and identity. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let me know what you guys ultimately think on all this Kevin Durant trade rumors. Where would you like to see him go? What kind of trade package would you like to receive for Kevin Durant? And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day, and go Phoenix Suns. Peace out, everyone.